Love X Revenge brings you a story where love lingers in every heartbeat, where memories refuse to fade, and where one promise changes everything forever. The rain had started just like it did that night, soft at first, then relentless, as if the sky itself couldn't hold back its emotions anymore. Arav stood by the window, staring at the blurred city lights, his reflection barely visible against the glass. Somewhere in the distance, a familiar melody played, Tum Hi Anna, and it hit him like a wave he wasn't prepared for. It had been 2 years since Mira left. Not a goodbye, not even a proper explanation. Just a letter, a silence, and an absence that filled every corner of his life. The kind of absence that doesn't scream, but whispers constantly, reminding you of what once was. Back then, Arav believed love was simple. You meet someone, you fall, and you stay. That's what he thought when he first saw Mira standing under a broken streetlight, drenched in rain, smiling like the storm didn't matter. That moment felt like something straight out of Marjavan, where pain and love intertwined in ways no one could fully understand. She had laughed when he offered her his jacket. "You'll get cold," he had said. "And you'll get attached," she replied. He didn't know then how right she would be. Days turned into weeks, and weeks into something deeper. Mira wasn't just someone he loved, she became the rhythm of his days. Her voice, soft yet firm, carried warmth. She used to hum songs while cooking, often choosing tracks sung by Jubin Nautiyal, her favorite being Tum Hi Anna. She said it wasn't just a song, it was a feeling. "If you ever leave," Arav once joked, "I'll play this on loop until you come back." Mira looked at him, her smile fading just a little. "Then don't let me go." But life doesn't always listen. The day she left was ordinary in every possible way. No storm, no warning. Just silence. Arav came home to find her things gone, the room emptier than it had ever been. On the table was a letter, her handwriting trembling across the page. "I had to choose," it read. "And sometimes love isn't enough to stay." He didn't understand. He refused to. For months, he searched for answers, called her number that was always switched off, visited places they used to go, even asked mutual friends who only shrugged with sympathy. It felt like she had vanished from the world, leaving behind only echoes. And yet, every time he heard that song, it felt like she was still there. The voice of Kyle Dev echoed through his memories too, because Mira admired her compositions. She used to say that music like this carried pain in a way words never could. Arav hadn't believed her then. Now, he lived the truth every day. Time moved on, as it always does, but Arav remained stuck somewhere between yesterday and today. His friends told him to move forward, to meet new people, to let go. But how do you let go of someone who still feels like home? One evening, almost 2 years later, something changed. It was raining again. Arav had taken a different route home that day, one he rarely used. Maybe it was instinct, or maybe it was something deeper. As he walked past a small cafe, he heard it, the same melody, the same song. Tum Hi Anna. He stopped, and then he saw her. Mira was sitting by the window, her fingers wrapped around a cup of coffee, her eyes distant. For a moment, Arav thought he was dreaming. His heart raced, his breath caught, and every emotion he had buried came rushing back. He stepped inside slowly. She looked up. Time froze. Neither of them spoke at first. Words seemed too small, too fragile for everything they were feeling. Finally, Arav broke the silence. "You left." Her eyes filled with tears. "I know. Why?" It was the question that had haunted him for 2 years. Mira looked down, gathering courage. "Because I was dying." The world tilted. "What?" Arav whispered. "I had a condition," she said softly. "Something serious. The doctors gave me time, but not enough. I didn't want you to watch me fade away. I didn't want your love to turn into pain. So you thought leaving would hurt less." His voice cracked. "I thought you would forget me," she admitted. "Move on. Be happy." Arav laughed bitterly. "I tried. I failed." Silence filled the space between them again, but this time, it was different. It wasn't empty, it was heavy with truth. "What happened?" he asked after a moment. "I got treatment," Mira said. "Experimental. Risky. But it worked. I survived." Arav stared at her, emotions colliding inside him, anger, relief, love, confusion. You survived, he repeated. And you didn't come back. I was afraid, she whispered. Afraid you had already moved on. Afraid I didn't deserve another chance. Arav took a step closer. You always had a chance. Tears rolled down her cheeks. Even after everything. Especially after everything. Outside, the rain continued to fall, just like it had the night they first met. Inside, something fragile began to rebuild. Do you still? Mira hesitated. Arav didn't let her finish. I never stopped. The song reached its chorus, filling the cafe with a familiar ache. It felt like fate had written this moment, like every note had led them back to each other. Tum hi Anna, Mira whispered. Always, Arav replied. They stood there, not as strangers, not as people broken by the past, but as two souls who had found their way back. Love isn't always perfect. Sometimes it's messy, painful, and incomplete. Sometimes it leaves scars that never fully heal. But sometimes, just sometimes, it gives you a second chance. And when it does, you don't let go. Because no matter how far you drift, no matter how much time passes, some promises remain unbroken. If you ever come back, I'll be here. Tum hi Anna.